This is Twit.
We told you Monday that Yahoo accidentally distributed malware in Europe to millions through malicious advertising posted on the yahoo.com site. Like during a 4-day period between December 31st and January 3rd, there may have been between 2 and 2.5 million actual infections. The malware redirected visitors to a site with even more malware, but today we learned that some of that malware, a lot of that malware, was taking over victims' PCs and turning them into Bitcoin miners, gobbling up resources for the victims and generating money for the malware creators.
Fingerprints are so 2013, you guys. Samsung might be adding an eye scanner to its upcoming Galaxy S5. I always have to think about that, S5 smartphone, to compete against Apple's iPhone 5S fingerprint scanner. That's at least what Samsung's mobile VP Lee Young-hee tells Bloomberg in a story that was published today. He also said to expect the Galaxy S5 by April and that the phone, quote, will be paired with a new wearable device that will be an evolution of the Galaxy Gear smartwatch.
Sexting teenagers aren't the only ones who need messages that self-destruct. A new iOS app called Confide enables encrypted, private, temporary messages designed for professionals, and it uses email instead of phone numbers. Remember, the part of the problem with Snapchat was the phone number database. You can send screenshots, and these screenshots are difficult to take. The pictures are difficult to take screenshots of, and if they are taken, the sender will be notified. The words are hidden unless users pass their hand over the screen, a kind of wand effect. And the notification for read messages is delivered to the sender. One possible snag is that this is designed for business people, and the government regulation of business requires an audit trail and the retention of business messages.
Sure, all this wearable computing sounds promising. We all want to wear all of our computers, but how willing are we all to pay up to buy into the future? Google Glass is, what, $1,500. The Sony Smartwatch 2 is $200. The Pebble Steel is $249. That's too expensive for a lot of people. Arco says it's launching a basic smartwatch this summer for just $50. That's cheaper than most watches. I mean, look at Swatch. It'll handle smartphone notifications, music playback. It'll have a 1.5-inch non-capacitive e-ink screen. And here's the wow factor, you guys. Hold on to your butts. It can tell the time, too. What?
Android and iOS dominate the market, but a Linux-based alternative called Tizen has powerful backers, including Samsung, LG, Intel, Fujitsu, Huawei, Vodafone, and Orange. A spokesman for Japan's largest carrier, NTT Docomo, told AFP that Tizen phones would hit in March. Japanese paper Mainichi Shimbun said yesterday that Samsung's Tizen phone would be announced before Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Spain on February 24th. The details about the Tizen app stores at that event are expected, and other alternative platforms like Canonical's Ubuntu, Linux for smartphones, Firefox OS, and Sailfish. Out of all of these, I think Tizen has the best shot because it's backed by the big, powerful companies.
You know what comes to mind when I think of wearable technology? Dick Tracy. No, seriously, the original smartwatch was a two-way wrist radio worn by Dick Tracy, the comic book cop, back in the 1940s. He was quite a trendsetter. And BEM Wireless is bringing him back with a watch called the Speaker Band. It's actually really just a Bluetooth microphone and speaker in a wristwatch form. It works with iOS or Android. It answers calls, lets you listen to music, has 6 hours of talk time, so says the company, even caller ID because, you know, you're a detective. It'll run you $50 and ships at the end of the month.
A Google Plus user named Stefan M. noticed that some Chromecast icons in the latest version of the Google Plus Android app. Those icons might reveal the future plans to enable the app to display Google Plus photos, Hangouts, and posts on TVs using Google's Chromecast dongle. A Google representative told Tech News Today that, quote, "We don't have any plans to announce at this time."
IBM's Watson computer has had a lot of fun playing Jeopardy, but now it's time to put the artificial intelligence system to work. IBM is investing the non-trivial sum of $1 billion into a new business unit for Watson, which includes a $100 million equity fund toward new innovation at its Watson Developers Cloud, currently available to developers. IBM also says it plans to hire 2,000 employees in New York City. The computer, which used to be the size of a whole room, has slimmed down to the size of 3 pizza boxes.
Would you trust a smartphone app to park your car? A French company called Valeo demoed their prototype automated parking valet app at CES in a parking lot yesterday. It supports both iOS and Android, and you can get out of the car before the car parks itself. Valeo's main business is making car parts and electronics, and they have a Park for You system. That's park with the number 4 and the letter U. That uses ultrasonic sensors, laser scanners, and cameras that are already installed in some BMWs and Range Rovers and other cars. And the car will actually find a spot, identify a good way to park, you know, parallel parking and so on. Then it will actually park. When you're ready to leave the parking lot, the car will drive over to you by itself and pick you up. This is expected to be on the market in about 4 years.
Okay, I need you to think twice the next time you take to Facebook to complain about your crappy salary. GigaOM reports that some financial startups are now checking Facebook and Twitter feeds before thinking about giving you a loan, and that a new breed of companies like Cabbage, that's Cabbage with a K, are using social media to look for contradictions between what borrowers say to the bank and what they might say on social media. They also might look at how many friends you have, which is completely ridiculous. It's like a financial clout score. Okay. They don't all work the same way, though. The startup Flourish, which is also known as LendUp, only checks social media when provided voluntarily by an applicant. Consumer advocate groups say, we're not into this trend, and then claim federal laws aren't doing anything about it. That's at least according to the Wall Street Journal.